This is gonna get hairy. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
Here we find ourselves again, you gluttons for punishment, back for some more brutal mode fun, as we complete the set with Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. And yeah, I know it took me a really long time to make this guide, but Uncharted 3 seriously makes me rage.
Just die. What are you doing? You're dead! Oh, fuck.
Thankfully, the overall experience wasn't that bad. Yeah, there were a couple of other BS moments here and there where you would die really quickly, really unfairly, but there's also a lot of slow walking around, talking sections so you can chill out after those hard-fought battles and not feel like you're being constantly bashed around the head with a vuvuzela. As with all my Brutal Guide videos, if you're looking for help to fight Talbot on Brutal, you can find that in my Brutal Boss Guides video where I have all the bosses in that video. Just a quick tip though, after fighting him a couple of war times, I do find that maybe being just a tad more aggressive with him helps move the fight on a little bit quicker. So for one last time, here are my 5 tips and tricks for Brutal Mode Survival on Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. Tip number 1. Use your friends. Like all the Uncharted games, Nathan Drake is never too far away from one of his trusty friends, apart from that bit in the middle of this game where he kind of ditches them all and then you have to do a whole chunk of it by yourself, but that's what the other tips are for.
Oh, shit!
So during my playthrough, I found there are a number of ways that you could take advantage of your friends. Firstly, they can actually kill people, and it doesn't take them too long, so if you really are stuck in a jam with no bullets and you don't want to move for fear of being shot within an instant, then you can actually wait it out and let them finish them off for you. You can also use them as a much needed distraction. If you're getting loads of people shooting at you, then just don't shoot anyone for a while and they'll start looking at your friends. This gives you a chance to heal up, get some much needed ammo, and if possible you can actually go around the back and shoot the guys while they're looking at someone else. Sometimes when things got really tough, I did try and stand behind one of them so that they could be kind of my meat shield because, you know, that's what friends are for. It's also handy to keep an eye on your friends to see what they're up to. If you're not sure where an enemy is, just have a look at one of them and see in which direction your friends are shooting at, because then you can be like, oh, the enemy must be over there, and then you don't get caught off guard. If you're not sure if everyone's dead, have a look at them as well to see if they're still taking cover, you know, in the sort of combat animation stuff. But if not, if they sort of come up to you and dialogue starts, then you know you're good to go and move on to the next bit.
Tower's right there. You gotta get inside.
Tip number 2, killer weapon combos. This tip is all about picking the right guns for the right situation. So after a big fight and you can have a little bit of time to catch your breath, look at all the guns that have been left on the floor for you, all the goodies, and think about what's coming up next, what guns will be best for which situation, and then you can pick and choose which ones you're going to bring with you. Because once you hit that checkpoint, there's no going back, you're going to be stuck with those guns and you're just going to have to deal with it. So I'm just going to briefly go over the combination of weapons I like to use.
That's what the doctor ordered.
Now normally I like to have some kind of one-hit kill weapon, so we're talking like a mag or a pistole or a sniper rifle, but to counterbalance that I like to have something that had a bit more ammo to it, so something like an AK or a G-Maul or like the micros, the arm micro it's called. That way you have something that can really kill someone very quickly and something that also you're going to have a lot of ammo for. As there's not much ammo in Brutal Mode, be prepared to switch it up and try out lots of different weapon combos, but if you do want to keep that special little weapon in your life, then thankfully the ammo trick still does work. Now for those of you who haven't watched the previous videos, I'll go through how the ammo trick works very quickly now. In this example, I'm going to pick up this AK ammo now, and you can see you only get one bullet, which isn't very handy. So to try and get more than just one, go around the map, see if you can find another type of your gun. So we've got 2 AKs there. But before I pick that up, I'm going to go and search for a different long gun. So there's a shotgun here. Now remember where your old AK is, because now we're going to pick up the brand new one. We get 64 bullets, and then when we pick up our old one, it's going to plus the 64 bullets with the 65 bullets we had before. And you can literally just keep doing this, keep swapping your weapon back and forth and picking up brand new ones, and it will keep plussing it to the total of bullets you have in your original weapon. And you can do that for any gun in the whole game, as long as there's enough guns on the floor for you to switch with. Tip number 3, know the zone. Following on from the previous tip about killer weapon combos, you're going to need to know where to find these good weapons. So it might be a good idea to maybe take some time out and play on like an easier difficulty and just run around one of the areas where you're getting stuck on just to see where the good guns are. This is especially useful when things get really tough, like when you have to fight the Jinn. That whole arena where I was stuck on for ages actually is littered with quite a lot of good guns, which I didn't actually realise where they were, and it was a bit of a pain. Once I found out that there was a Thai sniper, I was like, yes, this is what I need. So knowing beforehand will save you some precious time. Another thing I found useful to know is going around the map and trying to find the most defendable area. You're looking for a place where you know you can cover all the exits. If anyone's going to come in, then you've got it covered and no one can come around behind you. For example, in this bit in chapter 16, normally I would have never gone in this opposite area, but I found that it was a great place because I could just get behind this desk and wait for people to come to me. And the guys in this game, they do come to you. They get a little bit bored waiting for you, so they'll come and sort of run up one at a time and investigate you, which is really good for picking people off one by one. Another good strategy where possible is to see how far back into the level you can go. Sometimes the levels are quite long and you can actually go all the way back to a further bit away just to catch your breath and to get away from all the craziness, and then slowly edge your way forward and pick people off one by one as they come towards you. I did this quite a few times, like in chapter 5 for the London Underground bit, especially because you had the Defender. You know, the Defender, that's not going to kill anyone quickly. Being able to go back further into the map may not always be possible in every single instance. However, for the small, tighter sort of fights, I found that you could actually cheat the checkpoints. It would seem like in this game, checkpoints are activated from like an invisible line that you cross distance-wise rather than how many enemies you kill. So I discovered this in like chapter 19, where I was actually just trying to reposition into a better place as I felt like I was too cornered where I was. So I moved further into the fight. When I died, I was suddenly respawned like further into the fight, having not killed any of the people behind me, but now they were already dead. So sometimes if you're stuck, see if you can kind of make your way further in, and maybe you might hit a checkpoint.
Sully, get inside! Run for it! Head for the gate!
Tip number 4, patience is a virtue. Now I know I always bang on about patience in all of these brutal guides, but I really think it is important. One of the things that I always say to myself when I'm doing a really hard bit is, would I rather spend 2 hours doing a 5-minute fight because I keep dying and rushing it, or would I rather spend 20 minutes doing a 5-minute fight because I've been carefully, slowly doing it and then I actually complete it? So maybe that could be something to bear in mind and might help you out too. Now the reason I've given this its own spot as a tip again is because there was one particular moment in the whole entire game where I found patience was literally the key to success here. The infamous moment that I want to take some time to talk about now is the bit in chapter 12, Abducted, when you're climbing up the side of the ship. This eeny teeny climbing moment where you literally had to kill, I think about, 4 or 5 enemies, took me 5 minutes to get through it without dying. That's how slowly I had to take it. So basically, there's not really much you can do here, because every time, as you can see on screen, every time I'm like trying to poke out to get a shot, I'm getting almost killed, and I'm getting very lucky here as well. A lot of the times you get one shot as soon as you take out. So my advice here is just to simply wait and try and like position your camera so you know that when you're going to take a shot, that the shot's going to be lined up with the head. Headshots are crucial, okay? So I sort of am waiting, and also another thing to do is try and wait for them to reload. Now the reload animation, it's not like they take 10 shots and reload. Sometimes it literally takes them ages to reload, but I found that was the best opportunity that you had to shoot them without them shooting back. And I literally, this is all I did, I just waited, because I don't know how many times I died at this bit. I might have spent a whole hour trying to get this bit done, and I just found that waiting out for the perfect opportunity and taking it slowly just really helped me get through it. So I'm literally only taking one shot at a time on these guys, because it's such BS. Tip number 5, previous knowledge. This tip is about bringing together all the skills you've learnt from the past times you beat Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, Uncharted 2 on Brutal, and using them here for Uncharted 3. Unless you're some crazy rebel that's decided that they want to beat Uncharted 3 first on Brutal before the other two, in which case I respect you for your life choices and also prompt you to watch my previous videos for a bit more explanation on these tips. Basically, I didn't want to spend a whole nother video talking about the same old tips in depth, so I'm going to just shove them all in this tip. First up on this list is blind firing, which is still really useful and will help you get out of a jam many a time. Sometimes I like to use a one-hit kill weapon just to thin the herd if anyone's trying to run up at me. Or if I've got a gun that has a bit more ammo in, I'll just blind fire it at maybe a shotgun guy that's armoured just at his head, just to weaken him so that when he gets close to me I can finish him off quickly. Next in your bag of tricks is using stealth. As I said in my stealth guide for Uncharted 3, stealth's a little bit tricky in this game, and sometimes I didn't always find it was as helpful in Brutal, because sometimes when you got the last guy, it left you in a vulnerable position, especially because sometimes you can't get everyone, you can only get a certain group of people. As with Uncharted 2 on Brutal, the little ninja special weapons that you get from stealthing people don't drop on Brutal in this game either, so bear that in mind if you're watching the stealth guide video that I made and thinking, why aren't these weapons dropping? Next on the list is a combination of learning from death and experimenting. Whilst it is very frustrating being stuck on the same section for about half an hour, just try and think, what is killing me, what can I learn, what mistakes am I making, and eventually you'll start to see, like, the enemies, as with the other games, they do form a little bit of a pattern. You'll notice that certain ones will always take cover here. After about 3 minutes, shotgun guy will come around, so use that information to your advantage to take people out systematically. Don't be afraid to experiment with different tactics or weapons or places to go if you're really stuck on a situation. Like, sometimes you really got to think outside the box to try and get past some really hard bits, and it was only really from doing different things and stuff that I managed to get past some crazy bits that I was stuck on. I mean, if the game is going to be cheap to you, then sometimes you just gotta be cheap back.
Really? Oh yeah, baby.
Then we come to the final tip, which kind of started it all: standing behind cover rather than in cover. This is a strategy that I use anytime I play Uncharted on any difficulty. I just really like the fact that it gives you a little bit more freedom. I like being able to stand behind the cover with my gun already aimed, and then I can just go left and right, like strafe in and out of cover, and take out enemies a lot quicker than when you traditionally take cover. It also means that you don't have to waste time trying to re-aim your weapon every time you go back into cover, because you can just have it already lined up on their head and you just walk left, right, boom. So that brings me to the end of all my tips for Uncharted 3 Brutal Mode. So if you haven't beat it already, and I know this guide took me ages to make, I'm very sorry about that, but I hope this helps you guys out. And if you have beaten the previous 2 games on Brutal, then I definitely don't think this is the hardest. Personally, I still rank Uncharted Drake's Fortune as the hardest, but that might be because I wasn't, like, I didn't know what to expect. Whereas here, if you've done 1 and you've done 2, you have got 3 in the bag. I believe in you. So go get that trophy and good luck.
Why aren't you dead?
Let's hold it together.
Right, who's left? Oh my god, I've actually done it.